Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another week of SPL action. It's week number 3. My name is F. Joined by Adonis.
Week number 3 and 2. I'll be honest, though, it's kind of free FP week looking at it. You know, we've had some real competitive games, and I expect us to see some pretty competitive games here today and really this week. But I think these are kind of looking like one-sided games, but we could always see upsets. Most notably, JusTus playing today. Last split, they were actually able to take out Trig, now Paradigm, and Fnatic early on in the split. Maybe a repeat.
Exactly. We saw JusTus sort of take out Paradigm. Guess who they're playing today? They're going to go ahead and play Paradigm. But first, let's talk about JusTus, the familiar squad. If you followed last split, they were known as Upcoming Stars. So Sausage and Qin might be familiar, but Zephyr, Fexes, and Vote NBK, new to the roster.
New to the roster, but Fexes has been here for a while. We keep talking about him. He's the mid laner for Mortality. Back from Season 1, he was forced to switch to solo lane at the LAN, unsuccessfully so. He returned for Season 2 at a Challenger Cup team. It didn't end up working out, but they recognized his skill in mid lane, and they've picked him up, or JusTus has picked him up here for this fall split, trying to qualify for Worlds.
Yeah, back in his natural position, I think it's the best move that JusTus has made. We saw similar from Sayo moving out of the solo lane as he sort of sat there. Wasn't his best spot, now playing in the mid lane for his team, Mirrodin. So the return to the natural positions for a lot of these players that have previously been in the SPL, and it only looks good and better. So that's that for JusTus, and they're going to be going up against Paradigm. We'll take a look at what the team has in store for JusTus, and this is the familiar squad.
Yeah, five players that have not changed or moved from the squad since the beginning of Season 2. Zalia, Cuvo Fred, Lobster, Trix Tank, and Funballer. After their spill in week 1, losing 2 games straight, they or losing to Epsilon, excuse me, they ended up having a very strong return week in 2, taking out London Conspiracy, and they're looking to move forward. They want to get back to the top of those leaderboards.
Yeah, I mean, and talk about how long these guys have been together. The core of Cuvo
just the 3,
Fred,
right?
Yeah, Cuvo Fred, Lobster, and Trix Tank. So that Paradigm logo, a little bit of trivia for you guys at home, the Paradigm logo with the arrow in the middle of the yellow triangle, that's a throwback to an old team, a Maranthine, that these guys were on in 2012.
Did they actually do that?
Yes. That's specific from them.
I can't believe that.
That's a team from 2012 that they were on. We're sitting here approaching the end of 2015. These guys have been together for a long time, and today is just another day for them. They're going to be taking on Team JusTus, and Team JusTus is the team with the first pick, first ban, and the one comes out will be in just a couple of seconds.
Yeah, last time these faced, Stars really were focusing jungle picks on banning out. They took out Serqet, Bellona, and Alquang.
Right.
But their first pick this time, it's very unlikely that we'll see them take out Alquang, likely to leave it up. It's up to Paradigm to take that pick out or give it to JusTus, and we actually have seen that. Epsilon even said that, you know, we've given Alquang to teams that we feel like they haven't practiced it, because even in scrims it's banned out because people just don't want to deal with it. So they give it to these players, and these players just, they're not comfortable with it because they never get to practice it.
It's like old Zeus. A lot of times Zeus, once upon a time, before the SPL, was banned all the time, and then it was Team Eager, then Dignitas, who just sort of allowed players to play it. And oftentimes you'll see in this sort of situation where something is always banned that they're just not able to bring it to the table. Different bans this time around, though. Ymir, Ares, and Isis. The
Isis is interesting for me because Zalia did play it in solo lane last week, but I don't know. It's an interesting pick, right? Because even on the interview, Paradigm said they had something planned for it. They don't want to give away their secrets, but still to spin a ban on it, that's pretty hefty. They may just not want to deal with the aggressive pressure that Paradigm could. If they pick it up and put it on Lobster, give to them.
Also, not for nothing, what JusTus have banned out, whether by design or not, Ymir and Isis both offer extreme objective control in a world without Hog.
You're right.
Between Shards of Ice and Circle of Protection, both of these sort of stop your opponent from trying to steal.
Yep. First pick, though, it's going to be locked in. JusTus selects Janus. That's going to be going to Fexes more than likely. We haven't really seen too many solo lane Januses, but it's brought out there occasionally. That's going to give them a lot of mobility and a very high-tier god.
Pick on the other side of things for Paradigm. Serqet picked almost right away. Cuvo Fred does play this character.
Wait, Alquang's up? I didn't even notice.
Yes.
I mean, they picked up Serqet. They could run Alquang solo, and we actually did see Jermaine run at Hunter as well last week, but it's not going to be selected in. Bellona, that's going to be locked in as well. Is JusTus going to pick it up? I'm assuming since they didn't first pick it, that like we said, they're not comfortable on it. I think Paradigm is just letting it through. They don't really care. They want them to pick it. They saw how Epsilon countered it. They actually ran a Loki solo against it, which does very well against Ao Kwang. And Epsilon baited it out. Doesn't look like JusTus is trying to take the bait, though, if that's what Paradigm is bringing.
The Fenrir pickup on the side of JusTus. Now, again, this is one of the more celebrated picks right now as Hell is locked in.
Okay, this god has been banned in the second phase almost every single week against JusTus.
And the reason being the solo laner Sausage. This is his god. We talk about Dagars as being Thorgars. Well, Sausage is Hell Sauce. All right, there is no neat nickname for it, Kevin, but he plays Hell a lot.
See, here's the thing with me on this Hell pick is I'm not a fan of it with what Paradigm's drafted. They've grabbed the Bellona, which is likely going to be going solo. Could go dual lane as well. Could go to Trix.
Could go jungle.
But there's also Serqet, right? 100% anti-healing.
Yeah.
Serqet, Cubo Fred's not going to leave this lane. Cubo Fred is going to be here all game. He's going to be definitely trying to force. I mean, they could just dive this Hell, and there's not much the Hell's going to be able to do about it.
See, the Bellona doesn't really bother me too much, but it's all about the Serqet. Cobra's Kiss, the unhealable damage from the ultimate. Serqet by herself is enough to scare the hell out of me, quite frankly. And I think right here for Sausage, this is his power play. Yes, Serqet is going to be tough for me to deal with, but watch me do my thing.
They did draft Fenrir, which I like. They gave themselves a very high-pressure jungler that could look to help out Hell, and that's what I think we're going to see. We're going to have to see Zephyr protecting Sausage all game, because if I'm Cubo Fred, I'm not leaving solo. I am camping this. I am following what Weekend did for AFK. I'm following what Answer did for Cloud9. I am giving Hell 7 deaths in 15 minutes.
Now, one thing that I do think is interesting is that Team JusTus goes ahead and bans out Bastet. Serqet will most likely be in the jungle, so that Bastet ban is a solo Bastet ban. So JusTus is anticipating the Bellona to be in Trix,
which is fine, right? Ever since they've been drafting, ever since the Summerland, they've been drafting Bellona for support. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it. Odin locked in, though, that could be going support as well. Could also be going solo, right? Because actually, I would like it solo, too. There's more healing reduction, as well as you just lock the Hell in. There's nothing she's going to be able to do. This is going to be a very rough game for Sausage.
This is basically Sausage's moment to say, I can play my god despite the counter options here that Paradigm's really brought. I mean, bringing Odin to the table is the ideal anti-Hell. That's what you're looking for. They're going to go ahead that way. Also pick up Nuwa, who is pretty much strictly in the mid lane. So with all the ambiguity on the side of Paradigm, Nuwa is the only one set in stone. Lobster will be playing Nuwa in the middle lane.
Yeah, and that's going to be Anhur and Sobek locked in for JusTus. This is why you don't really see Hell picked up in the first phase, because there are multiple gods that shut her down and counter her. And we could see that, right? They picked it in Serqet, first of all, but additionally, we see the Odin locked in. I mean, it's going to be rough for him. JusTus, I'm not a fan of the Hell. I think this is a comfort pick for Sausage.
We'll take a look and see how it works out. JusTus and Paradigm as we get our game underway here. Sausage in that Hell that we've spoken so much about. Zephyr will be in the jungle on Fenrir with the red pot, so look for heavy early game pressure. And Janus on Fexes and the dual lane of Qin and Vote NBK.
This is not a good look for Sausage. I mean, take a look at his direct matchup. He's facing a Bellona with red pot and Death's Toll. He has nothing to stop Bludgeon, which is going to be chunking him for about a quarter of his life at like level 1, 2, or 3. Additionally, the Serqet pressure being put on, Sausage is going to be under his tower for quite some time. It's going to be hard for him. It's going to be a rough look.
As you said, Zillia is the direct matchup, going a very aggressive route. Red pot on that solo laner, Bellona. Cubo Fred on that Serqet. And the long lane, Trix Tank, Odin, Funball, Freya. No surprise to see Trix Tank on a warrior, to be honest. But Odin, I feel like this is newer.
I think he's played it in the past. I mean, it's still very strong. Odin brings a lot of lane pressure, and it's a god that works for Trix Tank. When you think of Trix Tank, you think of heavy rotations, team fighting, and very aggressive support style. And there's the aggression already. You can actually see the invade coming out on the left side lane, though.
Odin's going to go ahead and use the bird bomb, so his jump and his shield is gone. And the first blood picked up right away by Vote NBK.
Very strong start coming out right now for JusTus. That was a great pick and something that Trickstang didn't expect them to do. You can see that. He didn't even look to the left. He didn't even turn around and check to see if he was getting invaded. He jumps in place. He was already at half life, and Qin finds the great pluck.
And that right there is one of the problems, or one of the harder things to overcome when playing Odin. Your leap and your Raven Shield, everything is used in that attack. Cubo Fred a little bit of trouble. Janus portal, that should be it.
Cubo Fred should have been dead. Zephyr misses a jump on a target not moving. Xaylia, there's first blood on Sausage. I mean, this is just... Hell can't do anything right now, and that's before... that's before Serqet has rotated to the lane. And Xaylia's full life as well.
Very important for Xaylia to pick that up because of how Odin died so early. It's not going to quite catch them up. Paradigm's still trailing by about 800 gold, give or take. But that's how you have to respond in order to really stay involved.
Big rotation coming out from JusTus. They got the pressure on the mid lane. They picked up a first blood in this duo. Continuing to put pressure and win here, this is what I like from them. They're going to steal away this attack speed. Just leave Sausage alone. He's already died. He's likely to die a couple more times. But what Hell does bring is a very strong late game. As long as Xaylia isn't rotating the big team fights and Sausage can keep him in place, this could still work out for them. So take the pressure, like just I don't want to say give up on solo lane, but put the pressure elsewhere.
Exactly. One of the things that we mentioned when we talk about higher level solo laners is not just the ability to win lane, Kevin, but the ability to lose lane correctly.
Cubo Fred, he's already here. I fully expect this to happen. There's the blink, there's a Cobra's Kiss, there's no beads. There's no way Sausage is getting away from there. That's the second kill. Xaylia level 5 already.
And expect to see this episode multiple times, folks. I think that solo lane will just be airing reruns today. That Serqet Bellona matchup just too much for Hell to really handle.
Cubo Fred. That could have turned bad. That was a great lift from Funballer. If he had got plucked there, there's almost no chance he was going to live. Had no beads, only level 3. He would have fallen. Yep. Funballer just trying to stay alive in this lane right now.
Pings coming out onto the Paradigm duo lane. Zephyr wants to make himself known, not seen.
They could just dive this right now. They can dive this. There's nothing Funball can do if Zephyr jumps in.
They're going for it. The jump and the ultimate into the big dog.
Nice.
Vote NBK gets the last basic onto Funballer, and JusTus ties up the kills 2-2.
Yeah, this is what JusTus needs to do. They got the first blood on this duo lane. Focus on shutting them down. Leave the solo lane. Put the pressure elsewhere. Because Cubo Fred's over in the solo lane so much, he can't respond and help out Funballer because of it.
Right.
At a time, we are going to have to see Cubo Fred just go over to the duo lane and help Funballer get ahead, and that's going to help Sausage get back into this game.
When is that moment?
Whenever he decides to.
Xaylia clearing very well. Level 6 already against the Hell that we're talking about so much. Only level 5. Xaylia looking very strong against it. As Cubo Fred and Xaylia go ahead and invade Hell's blue buff, that's going to impact a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Hell's likely not to be spamming abilities, though. She's really just going to be looking to sit under this tower. She knows she can't go out. She knows she can't get aggressive. Sit under the tower, find the farm you can. I would really like to see a Sprint 2 come out soon, simply because if she gets slowed out by Xaylia, there's not much she can do to get away, and that'll just give her a little bit more survivability.
Very early in this game, and a lot of action for a European match, quite frankly. 2 quick kills in the solo lane out of Xaylia and the Paradigm crew, and then the dual lane for JusTus looking, honestly, very strong. Mid lane, Lobster doing his job with 44 minion kills. Almost 10 more than his opponent, Janus.
He's just been farming pretty effectively, and we've seen multiple rotations come out from Janus. He didn't find anything off of them, but he's always using his ult. He's always rotating. He misses some minions because of it, but it's not that big of a deal. He's staying pretty relevant and even on farm.
So Sausage, we're taking a look at, and this right here, I mean, it's 5 minutes in, and he's still having trouble pushing the wave. Something
this is fine.
Have.
No, that has nothing to do with pushing the wave. He can't push the wave. He can't walk up. He's going to get zoned. He should be in the minion range, though, still. But Xaylia's just going to keep putting... That is the bludgeon damage I was talking about. Yeah. I mean, and there's the slow. And there's
Invicta damage still coming
the kill.
Out onto Sausage. Is it the kill though?
Yeah, that's
bludgeon.
The kill.
That's the death. Xaylia with a 3rd kill here in the dual lane.
He needs to get sprint 2. He needs to buy actives. He needs to not look for damage. That's fine too. You can see he actually he's going breastplate. He wants to get that defensive. I would rather see a blink it by Trix Tank. This could be big though.
Gonna jump right onto the crocodile is Paradigm. Dashes down. Zephyr gets a kill over somewhere else, but Funball takes out Q here in the long lane.
A trade across the map. I really like Zephyr's decision there. He couldn't rotate to that in time. He goes right. Xaylia, not expecting that pressure to be there, gets a pick up on a player that's 3-0, worth a lot of gold and experience. But now, Paradigm recognizing this, they're starting up this Gold Fury, likely to get it unless Vote, NBK, and Vexes can get in there.
This is
oh no, they reset it.
Yeah, this is very standard. Paradigm not going for it.
Vote, NBK wants to keep this active? Okay, no, it's reset. I was like, really? You want to fight that?
Very standard for Paradigm to go after that after they see that the jungler's presence is on the other side of the map. Knowing that Zephyr can't make it to the Gold Fury in time, that's just sort of what you do. Unable to finish it, though, that's going to be a problem for Paradigm going forward. Trailing by just a little bit. This game is sort of even. But
it's even, right? So, but Paradigm, they have three of their kills are on Sausage in this solo lane. So it's not that big of a deal, because they're finding kills elsewhere, and that's why you see the 500 gold lead. If all of Paradigm's lead is stacked onto solo lane, that's fine with him as long as Xaylia is being held to this lane. Here's the gank by Cubo. This is likely to be a 4th death coming up for Sausage.
Stun and the Cobra's Kiss. That's all she wrote, folks. Cubo Fred with another kill onto Hell. 0-4-0 on the solo
Zephyr,
lane
though,
JusTus.
he might be able to find a return kill, but it doesn't look like he wants to commit to it. 2-on-1. Fexes was there, just not in the proper position to follow up.
Trix Tank and Q right here. They see each other. Nothing really two Guardians can do against each other. Sure. Hey there, folks. Welcome back. Sorry about that brief delay. We had a couple of technical difficulties here on our end, but we're back. Not a minute has been lost. 8.5 minutes into this contest. Game number 1 of a 2-game split. Paradigm versus JusTus. And honestly, JusTus has been looking good despite their solo lane.
They've been looking very good across the map outside of that solo lane, like you said, and this is just... Hell was just a very rough pick into this comp. They just need to try and allow Sausage to get ahead, or at least make sure that Xaylia doesn't rotate. Even though Xaylia is big here, as long as he's not rotating to team fights and being a 4 versus 5, forcing a 4 versus 5, like, they'll be okay.
And Hell late game is Hell late game. You don't
One of the strongest.
You don't get a debuff on your character for having 8 deaths. You just don't get as farmed as quickly. So at the end of the day, if 35 minutes in, you're still going to have a level 20 Hell. It's still problematic.
Funballer up in the air, trying to steal this gold. Actually, tries to turn it on Vote NBK, and now Funballer is just going to try and turn this fight. Hell has rotated, and now Paradigm, they're going to start up the Gold Fury. And I believe it didn't fully reset. Zephyr, he's going to try and get in there. He's going to jump. Is the Brutalize going to beat off? No, Paradigm, they secured. Vexes finds a nice return kill, but Funballer kills Zephyr in return. Hell, he's trying to team fight, healing up his team, and now we see Trix Tank thrown back, slowed, but there's the Bird Bomb. Can Q and catch up? He's going to be stealthed, and it could find a little bit of surprise, but no, JusTus will find that kill, but they do lose gold.
They lose gold. Sausage getting the kill is going to do a good job of putting him just a little bit ahead to help stop the bleeding that's been going on in that short lane solo. So the rotation from Sausage, not a bad idea, even though if you look at his tower, very, very low. Xaylia did some work on it.
He almost just needs to give up that tower. It's only worth 500 gold.
Right.
It's an interesting trade-off, right? Because the second that tower is gone, likely Xaylia relieves pressure and it allows Sausage to free farm more. But at the same time, Xaylia is going to be in team fights and rotating and trying to force stuff, and then you're a man down. So it's a kind of, for Sausage, he wants to give up his tower. For the team, he wants to keep it.
Right. In this situation, I think that we do see Sausage sort of hang on, but make the rotations that normally would be dangerous. I don't think he's going to be protecting his tower with his life here, Kevin. I think that for his team, having his Hell online will be a boon later on.
Considering everything, he's 1-4-0, and Xaylia is up a Gold Fury.
Right.
Sausage is doing okay. He's down 900 gold, which is a lot. But it's not.
Considering the circumstances.
It's not a death. Considering the circumstances, it's not a death sentence. This may be a death sentence, though.
Another gank onto him, but
they just force his beats.
Immunity is good.
They force his beats, and they force a huge rotation out of JusTus, who look like they want to dive this. And now Xaylia is going to be slowed, but he's a little bit too tanky for Zephyr to try and secure, especially with the rotation of Trix Tank.
Yeah, dude. I just saw Trix coming out of the corner of my eye, and with him here in this lane, there's really going to be no more No more aggression out of the JusTus squad. Fred sitting here looking at Zephyr, pings him out. He does see him.
Fred's speeds are down, so he doesn't want to super commit to this by himself, but you can even see Nuwa sort of rotating. They take the tier 1 tower on right, and Paradigm, they're looking to find some more picks.
They wanted to find Zephyr right there. Ooh. Unfortunately, for Vote NBK, he was found by Funball in the duo lane.
He was being very aggressive too, so Funball just basically took the 1v1 and won it. He was at his own tower. I don't think Vote NBK dove too hard. Sausage continuing to get poked down in this lane, just walks back, but he will be able to heal it up now. He has Breastplate finished. He's in a much better spot, especially once he gets boots, especially once he has that movement speed. We will see a much better, a much safer, a less dead Sausage.
Hopefully for him, don't want to see another 5th death on him just yet. Ultimate from the Janus onto the left-hand side. Fexes looking to relieve the pressure that Paradigm has put onto the duo lane. Fred up onto the jungler, jumped over the unstable vortex. Fantastic play, and now Fred's in a little bit of trouble. Lurking in the waters is Sobek, cleans it up with the slash, and is the one that winds up with the kill.
That was a fantastic jump by Zephyr. He actually caught the Deathbane in place, stunned out Kivo, slowed him down just enough for Qin to rotate and pick up that kill. JusTus, now that they've gotten out of that really pesky laning phase and Sausage has given up his tower, we're going to see a much better team fight-oriented playstyle come from them because they want to fight with a hell.
With that said, this is the first time a real lead has been here because of that Gold Fury taken just a little while ago.
This is a lot of pressure for a tier 1 tower. Qin going to miss the pluck as well. Knock him up. Now he's locked under tower and tanking it. Trick's take, though, he could get turned on Zephyr. He's going to find that kill, but Funballer does pick up Qin in response. Vexus is here as well. Zephyr poked out way too much, has to get out, but Xaylia, he's in mid lane. It doesn't look like he wants to rotate. He's just going to take this tower.
Yeah, Xaylia's sticking right in the mid lane, looking at the tower. Most likely going to go ahead and take it because, well, no one from JusTus is around. He's not going to push down himself. He'll just push the minions into the tower, and folks, it's still early. It's only 14 minutes in.
This game is very close.
He's going to look at the mid Harpies.
So I'm pretty sure he stole away that speed buff. Yeah, it just disappeared. So while all that was going on, Xaylia able to take away the speed buff and put a lot of pressure onto that mid tower. Meanwhile, JusTus is a Paradigm. They trade out 1 for 1.
Zephyr just walking past that speed buff, seeing it's gone. As a jungler, that feeling is never good. You always want that speed.
It's honestly soul crushing.
Got to go fast.
It's just soul crushing. Just walking in your own jungle, I'm like, man, he seriously stole that?
When you see other buffs go down, it doesn't hurt as much.
It's like, it's like your solo laner's like begging, like you're just hell sitting so like, come on, help me get my blue buff. I don't have enough mana. Jungle's like, I don't care, man.
Exactly. Paradigm looking towards mid lane, but JusTus 3 members deep. We'll see the mid laner go ahead and back Vote NBK in the long lane against his opponent. It's going to be a little rough playing against that. Back one more time, folks, to the SPL. Apologies, we are figuring out those technical difficulties, but hopefully we are good now. JusTus versus Paradigm. Game 1, 7-9. This one is close. Even though Paradigm's on top and JusTus is on bottom, Kevin, this game sort of deviates away from that.
Xaylia, though, took a very strong lead. You can already see him level 15 as well, multiple levels above most of JusTus members. And now with the pressure that he put into the right lane, we actually see Paradigm start up the Gold Fury, and now Qin gonna get caught, but he's alone. I don't think Trix is gonna be able to kill him.
A couple of Janus portals being tossed around between JusTus, who now have their entire team by the Gold Fury.
This could be a little risky. We've seen this back and forth last time as well. JusTus actually started up the Gold Fury, forced off, and Paradigm took it from them. We could see the same thing, but it actually looks like JusTus is going to get this for free. Zephyr over in the back line. He will fall to Nuwa shards, but Gold Fury goes the way of JusTus. One kill for the Gold Fury. They'll take that any day of the week.
And that's going to even up the game, folks. 7-10 might read the kills, but the gold tells a different story. Teams separated by just about 700 on the side of Paradigm, which, I mean, I'm calling this one a tie. Paradigm wants to stop that tie, though. They're going to go ahead and siege the middle lane. Caught in a problem with Kibo, but able to get out. JusTus playing good defense will defend their tower.
And a lot of that gold lead, too, is on Xaylia. He's got over 1,000 gold lead on Sausage. If you negate that, and as long as Sausage can control, or Xaylia can be controlled, JusTus is really fighting on even ground with Paradigm.
They're looking good, too. I mean, it's not just... There's a reason that this game is tied up, and I really like what I've seen out of the dual lane. We've seen some kills on the side of Paradigm against JusTus, but from the get-go, don't forget who got first blood.
It was that dual lane, Vote NBK grabbing that one. But since then, we have seen Funball a big resurgence back, sitting at 5-1-1, and his Freya has been on point really since he brought it out at the summer finals, where he had an insane KDA, just destroying teams with it. Zephyr, he's been the one for me though, putting all the pressure onto Paradigm. You can already see him continuing to put the pressure on this dual lane. He hasn't gone to solo lane once. He knows he's not getting a kill there. He knows that Sausage at this point in the game can farm safely by himself without worrying too much, so he keeps putting the pressure on that dual lane, trying to shut down Funballer. Oh, that poke.
Janus combo going to hurt Fred a large amount. Put him down to about 40% HP, so Serqet just going to be at those back harpies, not going to be here for this fight if Fexes wants to make something happen. But he's just going to opt to drop the sentry and de-ward the Paradigm jungle.
Qin, for me, really needs to start hitting these plucks because he's missed the last couple major ones that could have led to a good fight, and it's actually been putting him in pretty poor positions because of it. Vote NBK, though, he's going to get dueled out by Funballer here, and Funballer, he's got his 3 core items online, but he's going to be jumped on. Vote NBK going super aggressive.
Very big stuff coming out in that duo lane, but everything is as told. Fred rotates over and punishes Vote NBK.
Trixtank is here, though. Nice pluck by Qin. Gonna make sure the aggression is stopped. There's gonna be that creeping curse and the counter creeping curse, making sure that Trixtank can't lock Qin in place.
So Fexes and Qin now here in the duo lane. Trixtank, but no sign of anyone else.
Qin just plucked Trixtank when Fexes had went back to mid lane, and he was forced to ult, otherwise he would die. A little bit of miscommunication coming out from JusTus right now. That's true, he did. That's true, he did hit the pluck. I give him full credit. Now Paradigm, though, grouping up pretty heavily in this left side lane. You can actually see them looking to try and invade this red Funballer. He started up the attack speed, and they're going to commit real hard to this, locking Qin in place. But Zephyr, he's going to go deep. Lobster going to stun out Zephyr. Zephyr already under half-life. Paradigm, they put the pressure on, they stole the attack speed, and they half-life Zephyr, who just walked back into this.
The shell was a big part of that, of the disengage.
Yes, shell 3 already.
Yeah, Paradigm really didn't want to go ahead and fight off of that, but they will fight over the tower. Buck is going to miss one more time, but Ragnarok won't. He's going to drag Funball right under the tower.
Perfect timing.
And Vote NBK grabs a stun and a basic to claim that kill.
For me,
JusTus now pushing off Paradigm.
That kill was perfect, and now Zephyr continuing the aggression, going to jump forward here. Qin going to get stunned out, though. Lobster, big plays coming out from him, and now Zaylee is in this fight. This is not who they want to see. He slowed Vote NBK. Vote NBK, no jump available. He's going to use his ult. He's trying to stay alive, but he's just doing damage, not finding any kills. Sausage, he's going to be falling next. And Paradigm, they pick up 3, but Fexes does manage to snipe 1 away.
Fexes the only one alive, whereas Paradigm still has 3 members here on the left-hand side of the map. They're rather low, so I don't think we'll see the siege just yet. Paradigm will take what they won. They'll walk away as Fex is able to clear the wave, really no problem. But Paradigm comes up on top in that engagement. Obviously, the kill's much different. Paradigm up by 6.
That looked like it could have been a good fight for JusTus, but that's the power of Xaylia. I talked about it earlier. It's fine if you can contain him to solo lane, but his impact on that fight was worlds above what Sausage was able to do. We saw him get off a couple kills, but it just couldn't heal the amount of damage. And we saw Xaylia come out with a huge bludgeon, you know, racking up that extra damage from hitting multiple targets.
And now Xaylia leveled 18, able to be virtually wherever he wants. Gonna go ahead, drop the bludgeon just because of time spent out of combat, but his team, Paradigm, still largely in this middle lane, looking to push this tower down for their lead.
It's going to be hard to fight into the Hell. The Hell is behind, but she's got a couple of her core items online. She'll be looking to max that CDR, most likely once she gets 500 gold. Paradigm, they're baiting this pretty hard, though. Trixtank, he's not in combat. Just going to scare off Zephyr and secure the mid-harpies. Doesn't look like Paradigm. We're too inclined to fight there.
Just one mid-harpy. The other will be given to JusTus.
Paradigm's still giving a lot of respect.
I say give it.
Yeah.
Paradigm now. All right, there we go. They were spread out for just a second. Might have been able to capitalize on it, but JusTus opted not to. All 4 members following Paradigm. This group of Paradigm, this 3-person group, is being closely watched by JusTus.
neither team, but at the same time, a lot of Paradigm is still getting farmed pretty effectively, and that Odin cage is just, it's so scary just knowing it's up more than anything, right? You can't group up, because if you group up, you know Trixtank is going to blink on you and lock so many players in place. QN and Vote MBK rotating as well, just trying to make sure that Paradigm doesn't start up that Gold Fury. They are going to start it up, though. 3 players going on at Q, and he's going to rotate in under Trixtank here, but it's already at half.
A lot of damage coming out from the guys on the Paradigm squad. They've let go.
They just baited the ult.
Lurking in the waters.
And Q actually does damage to it.
Now they're going to turn on Q, and in comes Trixtank, locking in 2. Shell is down, but so is Roma Invicta. Over the top comes the rest of the team. Cubo Fred takes out the healer. No more sausage. Trixtank forced out of the fight, but 2 very low. Funball makes Q go down to 0, and still giving chase onto the mid laner, Fexes.
Funballer diving so deep. His damage is online. He has so many items. Zephyr, oh, he's going to get that beats immediately, and Zalia.
Over the wall with the Scourge. Love it. Paradigm will take the stuff after the stuff. The tower after the team fight, folks. And Paradigm catapults into the lead very nicely. 51,000 to 48,000 gold.
Trixtank going to try and tank this up. They've sieged tier 1. They're looking at tier 2. Janus and Anhur, they have the ability to clear these minions pretty fast. And there you can see Funballer already tanking the tower. He doesn't even care. He's just trading with Vexes. But that tower not taking enough damage.
Damage on a Trixtank. Not enough.
JusTus. They're going to try and chase out Paradigm. Paradigm's pretty low here, but it's only really Vote MBK and Vexes. They need to be a little bit wary in Paradigm. They're just going to back off. But Serqet does manage to steal away the blue buff. But all of Paradigm have backed, really. Only Lobster remains up. Serqet over in the right lane, and JusTus, they're going to be starting up this Gold Fury. Nuwad's going to spot it out, but she could just die here.
Gets plucked into a wall, right into the portal. I don't think they planned that, but they definitely went after it. Funball with the return kill onto Vexes. Cubo Fred here, very, very low, is the objective itself.
They wasted so much time, though.
So low, and Paradigm takes out the Gold Fury. Surprise! Here we are. Funball gets one. Funball gets another. Cubo Fred cleans it up. The only one alive on JusTus is Zephyr, and he is on the other side of the map. Paradigm takes the fight and the Gold Fury.
I love that play from JusTus, going for the Gold Fury after Paradigm had backed, but Lobster smartly sniffs it out. But the problem was they committed QN and Lobster to zoning out. They were looking for the kill. They weren't trying to stop Lobster from getting in. They were trying to kill him, and the 3 players left remaining weren't enough to take it out. Paradigm, like you said, they wipe it, they take the gold, and with all of JusTus down outside of Zephyr, they start up the Fire Giant, and there's no one to stop it.
Fantastic play, and what a swing! This game was close. You wouldn't have
they're waiting too.
Yeah.
They're letting Lobster get it. Great timing coming out from Cubo Fred and the boys.
You know, this is what we're seeing more and more of. Teams that, I don't want to say shouldn't be close, spend the entire game really close, and then Paradigm comes out. It's one sweeping play. It might not win them the game, Kev, but it puts them far ahead, and this is like, that was the turning point of this match for sure.
Yeah, you saw in those graphs, 14,000 experience, 7,000 gold. Paradigm are in firm control of this match right now. They've got the Fire Giant, they've got a couple lanes pushed up here, and they're likely to just pressure down all the remaining towers. They could be risky, right, if they're able to find some picks, but I think if it's a 5-on-5, they're going to just focus on the free gold on the map. You can see them clearing their own jungle. They're going to take out that speed buff, and it looks like they're going to start pressuring up mid, get that minion wave through, and then rotate to left.
Well, folks, after all that action, we're 25 minutes in. 10 to 22 are the kills, with Paradigm leading. Trixtank wanted to make that into 23, but NBK deters with the knockback. And the gold tells a similar tale. 8,000 gold in the way of Paradigm, but Trixtank all alone taking the boat.
Yeah, but he might be able to actually catch some players out. Looks like Paradigm, they're just going to play it safe. They're going to play for the free gold, take tier 1 tower, not force engagements unless they have to. You can see them pressuring this here. Looks like JusTus, they wanted to Finn though. And Vexes does have a lot of damage, to be fair. That Janus poking very hard if he can find it.
Trixtank, speaking of finding it, Trixtank looking for the perfect engage, trying to get out of combat, it looks like. There it is, Blink in with the cage. Down comes Zalia, and down come the fire shards. All in is Paradigm, and it's capitalizing. Lobster takes out the life of the solo laner. NBK fired the ultimate before he goes down. He feels like it's inevitable, but Zalia gets the kill. Zelia gets another kill. Funball follows it up by taking out the dog, Zephyr, who did wind up taking out Cuvo Fred. But that's only one dead on the side of Paradigm, with 4 dead on the side of JusTus. That math doesn't add up for JusTus, and Paradigm takes the tier 2 and looking at the Firebird.
Yeah, that's going to be 5 dead, a delayed deicide. No one spawning for 15 seconds. This could actually just, I think it is. Paradigm, all 5 up, they're just going to walk straight, or all 4 up, they're just going to walk straight into here. JusTus, Titan's under attack. It's already at 7,000 life. No one's going to be able to spawn in time to defend this. And Paradigm take it game 1. That fight on the tier 2 was fantastic. Yes. The blink in by Tricks. But I mean, JusTus grouping up when they knew that there's an Odin, a little bit questionable. And while they did have a couple members who were able to jump out, they kind of just left Sausage there to die. I mean, what's he going to do when trapped in the cage?
Exactly. I mean, that's the counterplay to Odin, really. Jump out, or if you don't have the jumps, spread out. You got to really make use of it. And Lobster alone should also force that spread out with the AoE stun out of Nuwa. Unfortunately for JusTus, game 1 doesn't go their way. Paradigm looks absolutely fantastic after a swing around the 20-minute mark. We'll get game 2 to you in just a couple of minutes. Stay tuned.